President Trump's legal team delivered videotape evidence that alleges proof of vote tampering. Take a look at this if you haven't seen it yet. The team led by Rudy Giuliani presented this surveillance video from Georgia's State Farm Arena voting center. And what you're looking at, it appears to show people taking out at least 4 boxes of ballots from underneath the table and then counting them after hours. Now, the attorney who presented the videotape yesterday said no election supervisors were present when the ballots were counted. And joining us now to discuss is former U.S. Attorney for D.C., Joe DiGenova, founding partner at DiGenova and Tensing. Joe, before we get started, though, lots of questions to ask you, but there's something that you wanted to get off your chest today, right?
Yes, I wanted to just say to the Newsmax viewers that my comments the other day on the Howie Carr show on Newsmax about Mr. Krebs were made in complete jest. They were, I must say, a poor attempt at humor. They were hyperbole during a political discussion, and I meant no suggestion of harm or intention to harm Mr. Krebs or his family, and I apologize for any misunderstanding of my intentions.
All right, got it. To all of our viewers who are watching. But now let's go back to that latest video from Georgia, because everyone's talking about it. And I understand on our website, on the Newsmax website, we have information that President Trump has filed suit in Georgia asking the court to prevent certification of the results and order a new presidential election based on significant systemic misconduct, fraud, and other irregularities. What can you tell us about that lawsuit?
That was filed by Cleta Mitchell of Foley and Lardner, a great lawyer who's been down in Georgia working on this for a number of weeks. It is called a contested election lawsuit. And what she is alleging on behalf of the president and the campaign is a violation of the Georgia state constitution for equal protection and due process, which are guaranteed by the Georgia state constitution, violations of the Georgia election law statutes, which require very stringent conditions for absentee ballots, all of which were violated during this election. The violations allowing felons to vote, violations allowing people who were too young to vote, violations for allowing people who did not live in the state to vote, and on and on. It is a 64-page document outlining all of the violations clearly established. And of course, we know from the video yesterday that was revealed inside the counting center that that was just one of many instances of improper counting.
And I understand it says hundreds of thousands of illegal votes counted in the state of Georgia, including over 10,000 deceased voters as well. My question, though, is with this runoff quickly approaching, and we know how important it is for Republicans specifically to participate, how will they know that these issues that you're bringing up are resolved, or how can they be resolved before the runoff takes place?
Well, that's an issue that has to take care of itself. But for the runoff, Republican voters have to decide they're going to participate in the election. They don't have any choice. This is not an either or. They have to participate in this election, because if they do, and if the Georgians send to the Senate 2 Democrats, that will mean that Joe Biden, if he is president, will control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they will be able to jam through an unbelievable agenda that will change this country forever. And so there's no doubt that while this is being worked on through these lawsuits and through the litigation and through the appeals to the legislature of Georgia, voters, Republican voters, must show up and vote. If they do not, they will be abdicating their responsibility to go forward. One of the things that those hearings showed yesterday in Georgia is that there is a need for an investigation, but that should not interfere with Republicans voting. They must vote.
In terms of AG Barr, I know that Representative Andy Diggs, he's called for Barr to release the findings of his investigation so far. What have you heard from him, if anything? Well,
I haven't heard anything from the Attorney General, but I know this. I know the president is disappointed because he's a man of action and wants things done yesterday. Bill Barr is a great lawyer. He's a fantastic Attorney General. I know he continues to work on this. These criminal investigations take time. They are not the kind of things that could be handled like a television drama with a 1 hour, conflagration and then a finale. But Bill Barr is a terrific guy, and I have absolute confidence in him.
All right. Joe DiGenova, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I'm sure our viewers appreciated your statement at the top as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.